since Jim's hospitalization in November, I haven't been really good about getting videos done. So he's feeling great and he's been doing a lot more of the repairs, and I wanted to catch you up on some of what's been going on. Our door, I think I mentioned in a previous video, but if not, I'll show you now, took on another whole crack. And so we again used gallery glass on both sides and super glued it under, because at this point we just can't replace the glass, but also because of that beveled glass, it's probably the original glass. I found this piece in the garage, and this piece is probably the top to a dresser, is my guess, but it's from roughly the same era that the house was built in 1911. See, the pegs were probably, it was pushed into the dresser wood. But we're going to finish nail this to underneath the door, and it serves two functions. First of all, the door is really plain for a Victorian house, but second of all, that adds just a really nice strengthening piece so that this door won't wobble quite so much. And so I'm excited about that. What else can I show you? Jim has been putting on trim. Now, in some places where, for example, in this bathroom, the door had rotted off, they had replaced this wall, but those studs were in really bad shape. So we had to re-stud it, re-drywall it, re-foundation, marble floor. You already knew about all that. But the doors were rotted up to that first joint. So we had to find some more old doors. This came out of another house. It's filthy, but it's hung. And this is the original trim, excuse me. And Jim just in the last 24 hours or so got back up the original trim. Unfortunately, we had to do cutouts, but for the light fixtures. And we got this glory of a door. It doesn't match the other door, but it is the same vintage. So there you go. There's trim. And I can't even tell you what a huge difference that makes. So some of the trim wood has been a bit of a challenge. For example, we wanted to put in a 36-inch door that helps us get furniture in and out, and it's just more of a standard width for now. But they didn't have 36-inch door crown moldings, and so Jim had to piece together a piece there. But we now have that and a old screen door put in. And this was part of a double door set, actually. We got that at a Habitat for Humanity Restore store. $25 per door, and they fit together like a set, but Jim restructured them so they came to two individual doors. And they're again wider than we had, so we adjusted the crown molding. When we treat that with wood filler and paint, you won't notice that that is two different pieces. So that is some of what we're up to. And then in the kitchen, I was trying to find something that I felt kind of went along with the feel of Viennese, I don't know. The two-tone plaster that you see in Europe, sometimes in the pictures, Italy, give that old, because it is an old house. I don't know if this will show up. Yes, see the imperfections in the wall? I love those, and I didn't want them to take those out because it helps contribute to this feeling of not a 100% new house, but a house with history and issues. And some of those issues are more serious than others. We've recently discovered that we have to raise this up more, and it's creating cracks on both sides, so that's really sobering. But I did get the painting done. All that being said, I'm not 100% thrilled. The paint was supposed to be a brown. To my eyes, it looks very, very pink. It's been a shock to me, but it's still, this is a light, bright, spacious area. Again, this used to be the old pantry. This was a wall. And then this area right here, where we have the washer, dryer, and the sink, didn't have the sink. It had a wall right there. And where we now have this nice breakfast area, that was where the sink was. So if you were washing dishes, your back was to the living room. Hello. And this area was really narrow because the kitchen was right there, and it was pretty dark because you really didn't have a lot of the light. So we put in this glass door, we took that wall out, and now the space is nice and huge. But I left the indoor porch old wood, again, just trying not to tear every single thing out. And we turned the sink around, you already knew that. Recently, we've got the flooring that was as close as I could get to some vintage flooring. Jim got it trimmed out. But I wanted to show you one more thing. When we were cleaning out the garage and the upper area of the barn, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, we found tucked in the corner these. Now these are not just a molding piece, but they are a plate rail. See those dug-ins? And so we had so many of them, and they actually had soot on them. And I know this house at one point had a small fire in one area. So I'm thinking, hypotheses, that maybe they took it down after the fire, thinking they put it back up later. Maybe ill health stopped that. But if you see up here, I'm gonna put that plate rail back. And then I have a collection of my mom's painted copper that's gonna go up here. So when you first come in the kitchen, hopefully you won't see the washer dryer. Eventually that should have a wall panel on it. But eventually what you'll see is this wonderful art copper collection. This is a door. I'm so proud of this. That never used to be here. This was, again, it was a porch that was enclosed. So, but it was a wall, more to the important thing. But by opening it, we could eliminate a hall that was over there and gained that space, which made our bedroom so much bigger. But it didn't have any molding, and we found, because of the tear out, enough of the old molding that we were able to do a pieced in antique molding. And so even though it doesn't look right now perfect, I think by the time that we get the trim paint on, it's going to be lovely. So that's a catch up. It is the very 1st of June 2025.